Hello everyone, I'm Jessie, the sleepy koala, because I'm Australian and I'm tired. Today, I am going to be doing a recap of the brand new novella that has just dropped, like a couple of days ago, just dropped from Brandon Sanderson and Janci Patterson, named ReDawn. It is the second novella in the Skyward flight triplet of novellas that happen alongside the still-to-be-released third book in the Skyward series, named Cytonic. These happen same time, different characters, going parallel as far as we are aware. This second book is incredibly exciting because it is from the perspective of the alien Atlantic who crashed on Detritus in the second book and has been in a coma. In Sunreach, the book before this, the novella before this, they wake Atlantic up from her coma. She is not pleased to have been put in a coma, but the DDF didn't really know how to make her better, so that was their solution. She gets interrogated by Jorgen's mother, Yeshua Waite, and Atlantic don't quite like this and has magical powers, so she gets the fuck out of Dodge and just teleports away. And that's all we get of her in Sunreach. She disappears, presumably back to her own planet. We don't know. We don't know. She was not very pleased to be treated like a prisoner and be told that she is trapped and a prisoner, basically. And FM does have a nice little conversation with her before all of this. Honestly, if FM had been the one to kind of conduct everything, it would have been sweet. But we had to bring in Jorgen's really terrible mother. She's a bad mother. She is a really unpleasant person. And she came in and she just fucked it all up. So then we get to the next book and we start in Atlantic's POV. And she did go back to ReDawn. Everyone who was guessing that, she did go back to ReDawn. It was a pretty obvious guess. Going back, she realized that there is a lot of political tension happening between the two factions. Unity, which is the faction that Atlantic is not sided with, and they are very pro-superiority. They're looking to take the superiority's deal that is being put towards them as a planet and peoples. And then you have independents who want to be independent from the superiority. Atlantic is aligned with this group, and when she gets back, she finds that they're not doing so well. Unity has risen quite a bit in the political standing, and now there's a lot of tension about whether they're going to take the superiority's deal or not. Atlantic is meant to go talk to the council, who are very Unity-based, about what happened when she left to try and go to Starsight to figure out what the hyperdrives were. She's kind of been avoiding them quite a bit. Just a little bit. But eventually, they effectively try and kidnap her. I'm just gonna go with kidnap to make her go talk to the council about what happened. During this attempted kidnapping, Atlantic's mentor, Ridikin, is taken captive by Quillan, who is part of the Unity group and is another Cytonic that is pretty powerful. He can apparently use mind blades and also this thing called a concussion bolt. They do not sound very pleasant at all. There is this sort of small fight and Atlantic disappears, jumping back to Detritus to try and get their help. She starts with talking to Jorgen, but eventually has to talk to the assembly, including Cobb and Yeshua Waite. They have to do a bit of deliberation on whether they're going to send help to Atlantic's people to try and stop the superiority making this deal with them. The Defiant Assembly has also been considering a deal with the superiority where they can end the war that has been going on between the Detritus people and the superiority for 70 years in exchange for peace between them. that sounds nice. That sounds very nice. There's nothing wrong with this picture at all. Nothing ever will go wrong. The assembly decides they won't help. So they send Cobb to talk to Atlantic and Skyward Flight. He tells them that he cannot order them to go and help Atlantic's people. He can't tell them that they should go and help. This goes on for a while because Jorgen is kind of thick-headed sometimes and doesn't understand. Eventually, all of Skyward Flight and Atlantic have got it in their brain that Cobb is actually telling them to go and help. They go and steal some ships and fly away from Platform Prime. This is not very well taken by the Assembly, who send pilots after them, literally to maybe shoot them down. Jorgen's mother comes on the radio and says, "You have to come back or I will shoot you." And everyone's like, will she actually shoot her son? We don't know, but we don't want to find out either. So they hyperjump back to ReDawn. Once there, they end up in a fight against the Unity faction and eventually take cover in this old floating platform called Wandering Leaf. Wandering Leaf has these automatic turrets on the roof of it that just shoot. They shoot at anything that comes nearby. They're exactly like the platforms in the atmosphere around Detritus that the DDF have been trying to get control of, but they just shoot. They just shoot anyone. Skyward Flight and Atlantic and the Independence fighters that they rescued in the fight that they just had are able to get underneath Wandering Leaf into that hangar bay and into the control room. What they discover is that there is another type of tanic slug, and this one is an inhibitor slug. The inhibitor slugs can put up this barrier around a certain area, and it means that cytonic abilities cannot go in or out, and you can inhibit someone using them. There is a passcode type thing that cytonics within the bubble, who are friendly, that they can use so they are not completely unable to do anything, which is very good because there is the slugs that Skyward Flight brought with them, and also at least 2 cytonics in this area. They go explore a bit, and what they find is this control room that has all of these little boxes that are very similar to the little boxes that they made in the last book, that also are very similar to what was in Ember. What they have discovered is you put the slugs into the boxes and then they are able to use their cytonic power in certain ways, such as hyperjumping or communicating or inhibiting in this case. They also find weapons boxes, which they're pretty sure if they put in Boomslug, who explodes, might give them a weapon that they can use alongside the auto turrets that are on the roof. However, none of them are smart enough to figure out how to make these things work. So, what they do is Atlantic and FM hyperjump back to Detritus, where this is kind of dangerous because all of Skyward Flight is now ready to be court-martialed if they are caught there. They go and find Rig and say, "Please help us, we need your expertise because you are very smart." Also, FM is happy to see her boyfriend. While they are there, they realize that the DDF is actually meeting with the Superiority so that they can start working out this deal, and all of Skyward Flight think this is a terrible idea, in the same way that Atlantic thinks it's a terrible idea for her planet. While they are escaping, they steal both Atlantic's ship that crashed in Starsight, which has been fixed to a certain point, and now that they have Rig, he can fix it to the complete point. They also steal a bunch of tanic slugs so that the slugs can't be given to the Superiority, which is what they keep asking for. Of course they do, because they want to prevent people from being able to hyperjump on their own. That way they can control the movement of people, the movement of trade, and they can keep their monopoly. So they steal the slugs. Atlantic calls a bunch of slugs to her. Cobb finds them in the bay and goes for them to try and capture them, and it's really weird, and they thought he would give them a little bit of time and pretend that he didn't see them, but this didn't happen. He just went straight for them, but they jump away in time, they take a bunch of slugs, they take away Alanic's ship, and they also take away Rig. Once back at Wandering Leaf, Rig is able to get the platform to start working. They figure out how to move it, hyperjump it, create the weapons, put up an inhibitor shield. It's pretty damn good. Once trying out the weapons a little bit, they shoot mind blades. It's really cool. Hell yeah. They go to this giant tree that is called the Tower, and they're going there to create a distraction. Why, you may ask, are they creating a distraction? Well, it's because Alanic knows that Unity people and Keelan have taken Riddicken, her mentor from the beginning, hostage, so she needs to go and try and rescue them. To do that, she needs all the Cytonics that are normally at the council tree to be drawn away from the council tree so that she can hyperjump there without running into an inhibitor or running into other Cytonics that are going to try and stop her and make life very difficult. The battle at the tower is amazing because this platform is now under their control. They can't control the guns, so they have to keep that in mind, but they can now shoot mind blades, these gigantic mind blades at their enemies, and they do. They really, really do. During this battle, Alanic and Arturo, which there might be something going on there, we will have to see. I'm pretty excited because I'm pretty sure a relationship's gonna happen there. It's gonna be really interesting because he was the one to call her out as maybe you are trying to betray us. It was a great scene. Alanic and Arturo jump to the council tree and try and find Riddicken. Alanic does eventually find Riddicken, and there's something just a little bit off about him because it's not him, it's someone else wearing a holographic skin of him. That's not very good. While she is there, Riddicken tries to convince Alanic to come with him instead of him going with her. He's just trying to deliver her to the superiority because they are a little bit upset, thinking that the Erdai people are harboring humans. They're not. It's just that Spencer gave them that impression. Now they want Alanic and Riddicken to be given to the superiority as an alternative to the humans that they were asking for. After a scuffle with the not Riddicken, Arturo and Alanic manage to escape to their ships, and then there is another fight with some other Unity ships. They also find that there is a transport ship that has an inhibitor in it, speeding away. So they kind of know where Riddicken is. So they're following this transport ship. Eventually, they are able to capture it. They light lance it, and they go back to Wandering Leaf. Now that they are back at Wandering Leaf and Riddicken is saved, he gets on the radio and puts out this communication to the entire planet. While he was captured, the not Riddicken had been doing this, so this is kind of normal in a way. People are sort of expecting him to put out these communications, except in this one, he explains that he was kidnapped. Also, reveals that they have made an alliance with the humans because there are now humans here. And he's doing this as a way to undermine the Unity idea that they should side with the superiority. In the past, the Erdai were sided with the humans. So this is a pretty big deal. Also, while all of this is happening, a fucking battleship jumps into orbit. This is a superiority battleship, and they mean business. They are not just there to try and attack Wandering Leaf. They are there to just attack anybody. This really undermines the idea that they want to be in an alliance with the Erdai and have peace. That's kind of what happens when you point a giant cannon at a bunch of people. They are able to take out the cannon with the mind blades from Wandering Leaf. It is an amazing scene. I loved reading it. Now that the battle is done, Jorgen calls home to talk to Cobb and explain that the battle is done. While he is talking to Cobb, it becomes very apparent that Cobb is not Cobb, has been replaced to someone else with a holographic skin of Cobb. Cobb tells Jorgen that he should definitely come back and he should definitely bring some people of the Erdai. This is definitely not a trap. Spoiler alert, it's a trap. They also realize that there is a transporter that is going to meet the superiority ship that is outside Detritus's orbit that has both Kuna and Jorgen's parents on it. So Jorgen tries to talk to his mother and say, watch out, this is a trap. And she doesn't listen to him, as you would expect from Yashara Wait, because she's not one to listen to other people. Jorgen and Alanik are able to get to this superiority ship. They split up, Jorgen going to find his parents, and Alanik going to try and find the actual Cobb, Kuna, and Gran, who has also been taken captive because she is a Cytonic. She manages to find all three of them. Alanik gets Kuna back to Wandering Leaf using the hyperdrive slugs. Also tells Gran to get Cobb out because Gran said that she is able to hyperjump, and Cobb is not doing well. He definitely needs some medical attention right now. Shortly before Alanik found these three, she realized there is a bomb on this ship and it is going to explode. They try and see if Rig is able to disarm the bomb, but Rig is not that type of engineer. He cannot figure out how to disarm the bomb. Alanik goes to try and find Jorgen to get him and the other Detritus people off the ship before it explodes. She finds Jorgen, who is unable to get into the room that has his parents and the other delegates in it. There is, however, a window into it, so he can totally see his parents. There is no way for them to get in. Jorgen and Alanik have to leave just as the bomb explodes, and Jorgen's parents die, and he has to be there to watch it. Which is awful. And I never thought I would feel bad for Yeshua Wait. But here we are. I was bawling at this scene because Jorgen would just be crushed by this. Because despite the awful person his mother is, she's still his mother. And he loves her. And he just had to stand there and watch her mouth to him, do better than us, and then just leave in time as they were blown to pieces. That is heartbreaking. The very end of the book is they jump back to Wandering Leaf. Jorgen is not doing well, and then his way of dealing with things is to just try and take control. And he is like, we are going to Platform Prime. Alanik, I'm sorry, we're not going back to ReDawn for a bit because I have shit to do now. And that is the end of the book. And that is such a good ending to set up for Evershore, particularly because we know Evershore is coming really soon, so we're gonna get the answers. And I am not normally one for open endings, but man, is this such a good open ending, because what has happened in ReDawn, everything that happened there, getting the alliance between the Adai and the humans, that is set. That is done. The main part of this book has been resolved. And then we have that hook right after to take us to the next book. So I thought this is a great open-ended book. And I am so excited for Evershore. I want to see what Jorgen does. He is not even in grief yet. He is in shock and he is just going for it. And it really feels that he is about to go kick some ass and take some names. So I am very excited for that. This was a recap of the newest Skyward Flight novella, ReDawn. I hope you enjoyed. I probably went into too much detail, but I just read it, so I know a lot of detail about it. Hopefully this is helpful for the book you have almost definitely just read, but for people in the future, this might be very helpful. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye!